Awethu, People's Platform for Social Justice, says a lot has happened in our democracy, but a lot more still needs to be done. The organization was established to demand a more people-centered, democratic and accountable government. Joining me now from the organization to shed more light is Fundiswa Mtandana, and she joins me now. Fundiswa, good morning. Thank you very much for joining me.
Good morning. Thank you very much for inviting us. My name is Fundiswa, but most of the people from Awethu and the other organization know me as Sima.
Okay. Sima, okay, let's start this conversation. In the reflected on the Langa massacre happened. I know as an organization you still deal with some of the victims and family members that have lost members on that tragic day. What is the conversation now, and how do we get not only those people that were directly affected by the Langa massacre but en masse to understand their human rights?
Okay, it is still a tragedy to meet those people and to see tears running from their face, like when it's mostly me interviewing them. When I talk to them and try to find out what is it that they feel after 30 years of this odd. There's a granny that I can refer to. She actually lost her 2 fingers and she has no support from the government and other people. So we as Awethu have to try and stabilize and try and make her understand that not only does she still have a right to voice out her feelings about that day, but she still has a right to communicate and educate us. When I say us, I mean grandchildren and the people that are still coming, because some of us were not here when it happened. So talking to her today, she cries sometimes because she has nothing. She lost her son, she lost her husband, and she can't work because she's disabled in a way. She sells in a stand here in Langa. So it's kind of heartbreaking. But there is a grant that she's getting from the government, and I think that is one of the positive things that we're getting, at least. And we have sometimes platforms where we try and, how do I say this? Where we try and give her like a psychological relief from what happened the other day. I remember sometime we were watching a movie, the Massacre movie. She cried. She really cried, as if she is there at that moment. And when I asked her what's happening, Mama, she was saying that it's a remembrance of what happened to her and her kids. And the fact...
Let me just come in there very, very quickly. Talk to me about the kind of work that you're doing on the ground, because you've branched across the country, but there are things that you're doing in a community like this. Maybe in actual fact, before we start looking at that question, for a lot of our viewers who've never been to this part of the country in the Eastern Cape, can you tell me a little bit more about this immediate community? Okay,
this is a community that is well, I can say it's a proper rainbow community, where you get people that the coloureds, the blacks, and the other people from other South African parts. And here, if you look on your back, it's Langa, where it actually took place, and coming down to Rosedale. What else?
Yeah. Let's talk about some of the basic services that you get involved in, because it is about education, and understanding your right.
Yes, we do open up platform for organizations that are surrounded here in the Eastern Cape. Like there is Massacre, there is Likozi. We try and open a platform for people to come together and to talk about their rights and to find ways of doing campaigns other than doing violent protests, but trying to do campaigns that can not only provoke violence in the community but also help the government to see and hear their needs in a proper, rightful, human way, not to fight.
Let's quickly talk about some of the challenges here, because it's not only just negative stories, there's also a good here, but there are real challenges. Very quickly, what are they? Very quickly.
Well, at the moment we have a challenge of a college that is right here in the Eastern Cape, and it is one of the huge thing that is bringing us back now to this day. You find people asking themselves of the human rights when there are lots of our students that can't get in, or they do get in and then they're thrown back outside because they don't have money to pay. And it has provoked so many things in the community that some of them didn't even want to attend Human Rights Day because they say it's a basic right for to have education. But because they don't have access to education, the only education they get is from grade 1 to grade 10. And after grade 10, if you drop out, you can't attend the college because you don't have money to pay.
The other opportunities. We're going to leave it there, but thank you very much for joining me. That, of course, is Fundiswa Mtandana from the organization Awethu, a people's platform for social justice, who do some work here on the ground in the Langa community. And as you saw in the earlier insert, this is where that Langa massacre happened just over 30 years ago. A little bit later, we'll have a chat to Advocate Michael Masuta, who is the Minister for Justice and Correctional Services. He will be the keynote speaker here. We'll find out a little bit more about the national commemorations that's coming from this very venue. More from us a little bit later. Let's go back to Lebo in the studio.